Welcome to my observation hive. I've been procrastinating about this for years, and then I eventually got the courage to work on it. I got a friend who's a joiner by the name of Junie to assist me, and we were able to get it off the ground, building it from scratch. I got the idea from a video I saw on YouTube, so I will put a link down there below that you could find it and you could see how that works out. But I had to make some tweaks. I had to make some changes because the one in the video is inside a building. My own, as you see, is outside. So I had to make some changes. One of the changes would be that I decided to put a little roof on it to keep off the rain. So as a result of that, I wasn't able to put the pivot on the top, from the top of the observation hive. So when I tried to flip it from one side to the other, as you will see in the other video, it did not move as gracefully as the one in the video. In fact, it was tipping over. So I had to get another piece of lumber and put it straight on and just pin it down there one time. So it's not really mobile, but in order for you to see the other side, you just have to go from side to side. But it's a little convenient, because there's room. So it's not like the one inside. So you'll get a look at mine and you could compare it to the one that you see on the video. And if you decide that you're going to do one, I'm sure you might find yourself doing a tweak or two as well. So here we go. My hive, observation hive, is a bit smaller than the one that I'm going to be sending you the link for, where I got the idea. That was 8 frame observation hive, whereas mine is a 6 frame. I had a 5 frame nuke that I had set aside just for doing this. So I just simply had to add another empty frame in it just to fill up the space. And this, as you can see, I'm opening both sides. One side with the plexiglass was able to swing open, whereas the other side I bolted it because I wasn't able to get 2 pairs of hinges under one 2x4, and it would have been very cumbersome, and I figured it would obstruct one of the doors from coming back. So I sealed one and just had one swinging. So you're just able to open the outer shutter, see through the plexiglass to see the hive. But anytime I'm making any changes, taking out any frames, putting in new frames, I have to do it from one side. So here it is. I'm just putting in the frames from the nuke that I have. This was supposed to have happened the day before, but I realized when I was putting in the frames that I didn't have any way of knowing for sure whether they're too close to the other glass on the other side, since that one wasn't able to be open. So what I did, I postponed the transfer for the next day, and I went in and put some little stoppers on each rack, so that when I put the frames in, it will jam against the stopper, so I will know that I'm not supposed to take it anything further than that. So I did that the day before, so that now I'm able to go and do, or I should say, to go and populate the hive. So I'm now putting in the one empty frame with foundation that would allow them to have an empty frame to work on, so it wouldn't be overcrowded from the get-go. So they have an empty frame, they will have to start working on that to build it up, and that should take them a while before the observation hive is really packed and ready for me to make room for them. So that should give them some time. After taking out the frames, I would spray the remaining bees inside the box with plain water in order to get them not to fly around too much, and then I'll use a piece of cardboard to scrape them in so that I'm able to just kind of dump them inside of the bottom of the observation hive. So I get a small piece of the cardboard, so I have to tear off a piece to get it to work nicely inside the small box, and then I'll just scrape them from the bottom or from the walls, and then I'll just dump them inside on the bottom portion there of the observation hive, and they'll work themselves up on the frame. That would take me a little while because I'm trying to get as many of them as possible inside the hive, since they're not really accustomed to the new environment or the new home. So they'll have to find the exit or the entrance, the same place along that white pipe, and it will take them in and out right by the fence. So they'll eventually crawl out, come out, and then they'll know they have to get back in from that end. So I'm trying to get as many of them inside the observation hive before I seal it up or screw it up. So I'm just taking my time, taking them out bit by bit, what remains or what those that came off the frames, so I can get them inside. Okay, I think I've done what I can to get as many as possible in. So I'm gonna try to seal or screw that inner plexiglass onto the frame. So I'm smoking the edges to get the bees away from there so I don't crush them. So I'm smoking them, having them, hoping that they'll go in, but some, as you see, are doing their own thing, they're coming back out. So just to ensure that I don't crush them. So I'm smoking them, and then as soon as I get the door in, I start putting in the screws one by one. I have about three on each side. I have 3 on the 2 long side, 2 on the bottom, and 2 at the top. Screws that I have to keep it, because you know, there are going to be times when people who are not into beekeeping want to come and look at the bees. I don't want them to be standing there and the bees are calling out to sting them. So the whole idea about the observation beehive is that you're supposed to be able to go, stand, watch, see the bees performing without being exposed to the stings like the regular beekeepers. I decided to make myself a bit more comfortable by taking off my right hand glove in order to hold the drill a little bit better, in order to screw in to get the screws in properly. But the bees weren't giving me an easy time at all. So as you see, I had to walk away for a little bit to get them off my hand, and then I came back, still trying to brush them off in order to put my glove back on. Because I decided that I'd have to make do with however it feels when I'm using the drill with the glove on. So that I had to go back to that option. The few that remained inside the box, I took them closer. Well, I took them to the entrance and gave them a bit of smoke, kind of to get them out of the box so that they could at least go and sit on the entrance landing board. See, I eventually left the box there, hoping that they'll eventually crawl out. They'll see those that are coming in or those that are coming out or going in, and they will just follow the leader and go right back into the hive. So that was just for the few that were left inside the box. And for the others that were crawling all over the observation hive trying to get in, I smoked them as I saw fit, so that they will get off of the hive and eventually find themselves down where the entrance is and work themselves up to the pipe and get inside. So my job here is almost finished. I saw a couple clusters that I figured were worth the time and the energy to reopen that side of the plexiglass and try to smoke them in. So I'm doing that right now. I'm taking out a couple of the screws. Luckily, I didn't put all in as yet. So I'm taking out those that I had put in, and I'm now gonna be just smoking those clusters that I see at the side and at the top and try to get them in before I seal off everything all together. Now I want you to get close-up view of the bees in their new home. So here we are. You can see that we have the inner door, which is the plexiglass, and then the outer door, which is the shielded glass and the bees from the sun or the light. You may have noticed also that the outer glass or the outer door on the inside of it, I painted it black to try and keep them as dark and cool as possible when the doors are closed. So they're inside now, and this is the other side that was sealed off. That's sealed off permanently, and you get a look at the girls from this end, and there they are, right at home. Right at home. On this side, we are seeing them without the plexiglass, so we are seeing them better than on the other side, getting a close-up view. And I think that I was lucky enough to see the queen. Well, here is where they're going to be getting out and in, down through the pipe, right down, and then at the end of the pipe, that is the landing board that we're going to be using. So we'll go around, that you can see the other end of it through the pipe, and this is where they're going to be entering and exiting. And here is a close-up view of the queen, right in the middle of all of her workers, her attendants. A couple days later, I looked at the hive and figured that it was looking a bit too naked. So I did some research, found some stencils online, made my choices to what I wanted my bees to look like, and I eventually painted on 2 bees on the face of the hive. If you look closely as well, you'll see some yellow combs that I had printed on the cover as well to give it a more bee-like home thing for the bees. I don't know if they appreciate it as much as I do, but I think it looks good. Thank you guys for taking the time out to look at this. Thank you, thank you, thank you.